name is Marissa Rivera, and this is Sonia Book. We're here to do a video to expose Disney on the various situations that we went through. We're both victims. Part of the toxic list that Disney uses. They created this forum where they pick people that they don't want working for the company for whatever reason. You could be a really good employee, but then if they don't like you, if you're exposing something or you're complaining about things that violations like civil rights violations, harassment, retaliation, they put you in this toxic list and they unfortunately fire you. Okay, and both Sonia and I were victims of that, and we're doing this video because we want to make a difference and stop what Disney is doing to us and to other people that are still working for Disney. I have a lawsuit pending with Disney right now, and we're trying to seek justice for ourselves and for other people. And I'm gonna interview Sonia. I'm gonna ask her questions based on her situations. I worked for Disney Security, but then I went to another department. I was fired and I went to another department. Sonia stayed in the security department. So what she's talking about might be things that I didn't witness, but this is her account of the horror and the things that she had to go through. So, you want to introduce yourself, or are you okay?
Well, my name is Sonia Book, and I am a seeker of justice, and I'm looking for, how Marissa says, with my story, the story of the other people that I witnesses, and also a story that other people tell me that they are afraid to talk about that, but I have proofs that they provide me by writing their stories. I want to show and share that stories because in the past practice, what I learned from my lawsuits is anytime that my voice coming out and produce information and proofs about situations that happens, and later, not immediately, but later, Disney modify that's several conducts that affecting employees. So after I learning that speak out has a price, not even like I expecting, but little by little it's modify the system, and if I can find a little changes that doesn't affecting the employees to suffer what people like Marissa and me suffer, and other people is still suffering, I am more than happy to contribute with that. I talking with my freedom of speech. I don't fabricate any story. Everything that I say is truth, and I have proofs about that. I want to try to answer Marissa questions with stories because I consider this is the best way that everybody can understand and put in the shoes of the person that was a victim of Disney or is a victim currently in Disney.
Okay, before I ask you this question, you just mentioned that your accounts of things that had happened to you and to others changed Disney policy. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and Camille was one of her complaints that changed the company's policy.
Yeah, Camille, she was the first person who lawsuit Disney and won a case in a court. Incredible, because so many people against Disney in lawsuits, and the judges or the jury going in the side of Disney without analyze what is really happening with the victims. But in case of Camille Joseph, was admitted by the judge and by the jury that she was discriminated because she came from Haiti and she was black skin color, was denied the equal opportunities. But Camille changed the history. In her lawsuit, Camille denounced that a manager write a letter recommendation when she asked for promotion, and she was denied it because what the manager wrote in that letter recommendation. After Camille's case, after she won the lawsuit, Disney modified that. And guess what? And the person can apply for a position now and doesn't need a letter recommendation from the managers. They noticed that was fair because if the manager doesn't empathize with the candidate, obviously in his comments or recommendation doesn't going to be any positive to help the person to promote.
And then many times too, it's not even if they're qualified for the position or not. Sometimes it's the buddy system.
Yes.
The manager might have a person that's really friendly with them,
yes,
that they want in that position.
Or it's a convenience. I have a good example. I applied for a management position, and that time was a temporary manager position. I applied for that position. I was denied the opportunity to have the interview. Not even because I was already temporary manager. So I have the previous experience. I have a bachelor degree in Homeland Security that at that time nobody has in the company this bachelor degree. Mm-hmm. And I was given the opportunity to be interviewed. I don't complain to don't give me the position because Disney as a company can give the position whoever they want. But my qualification was actually for the minimum to go to the interview. They denied me the right to the interview. They ignored me, and they gave the position to a person who was ex-police, who was fired from the police department because he committed fraud in documents, because he's sexual harassing someone else, because he was this responsible with his weapon. His daughter used his weapon and shoot herself in one leg. So all these three issues were more important to give the position to this ex-police officer because he knows always, or actually someone else with power and influence, that give it to Sonia Book, an Hispanic woman who has previous experience and has a bachelor degree, the right of being interviewed.
Yeah, but we all know why that happened. I mean, why do you think that happened?
Well, so many reasons. First, because I am a person that if I see something unfair and I see that somebody is disrespect or their rights are override, mm-hmm. I'm not accept that. I'm not agree with that. That was one of the reasons. The other reason was because I committed a crime in Disney. The crime to marry a white American, other Disney employee who has a higher position than me. This is a crime in Disney. You can be married with someone else that is higher than you if you are mixed ethnicity. This is what we discover. When it's the same ethnicity, they can be married, they can be in relationship, and they can be in romance. It's not a problem. But if you are mixed, there is a problem.
And so that's basically what's happening with Elena Mobley.
Yeah, with Elena Mobley happens the same. She's white skin, a European American, and she married an African American. And they start to make her life so miserable after she married the African American.
So how long did you work for Disney?
I worked for Disney 24 years, 5 months.
Okay. Why are you suing Disney, or why did you sue Disney?
Well, I was forced to sue Disney because, first of all, I want that people understand it's not easy to sue a company with the name of Disney. And before even to thinking how you're going to sue Disney, it's a process. First, you have to complain with HR. Then you have to wait in what they're doing or they don't do it. If you want to go out of HR, you have to go to the a federal agency, Equal Employment Opportunities Commission, and when you go with them, like it happens to me the first time, I didn't have idea about the vocabulary that I have to use to open my complaint. Because Disney teach you a vocabulary that you use to describe the things in the way that never going to look so bad. When I went with my first complaint, what I did it was identify different situations, and I say, example, I applied for that position and I was denied it because I'm not the favor of the manager. They give it to the favor person.
Okay.
When I went with the EOC told me you need to show words that really put that what they're doing is breaking the law. It's because you're speaking with accent. You have to say that. You don't tell me because they don't like how I talk.
But do you think that was one of the reasons why you got harassed or retaliated against?
Well, I was harassed at the beginning because my accent. The problem was my accent. But ironically, in September 11, when the Magic Kingdom need people who speak in different languages to evacuate the park, I was called. At that point, that was important. The Sonia serviced the company. My accent wasn't important. And when I have to translate from English to another language to a person, the manager who's speaking English with me doesn't bother with my accent.
Of course, because you're contributing to whatever they need.
Exactly.
You're helping them.
Exactly.
Of course, they don't care about it.
But when it's the time to put me down, oh, she has a strong accent. And I was, actually, when I applied to security, because I was working in tickets transportation center, in the booths that they sell in tickets, which I was exposed to speaking with people in different languages, and I never get a complaint from the guest that says, I don't understand what she says. Totally opposite. But anyway, when I was working there, I applied for security, and I was denied by the person in casting, who is the people who hiring employees in Disney. And she called me and she says, we can accept you in security because you're a strong accent. So I complaining, I say, this is discrimination. Why you told me my accent is bad for going to security, but it's not bad to talking with all those people because I'm selling tickets to make you money.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So that was my first complaint for discrimination. And then they give me another opportunity with another person speaking, and the person says, I don't have any problem to understand your accent, Sonia, except if I don't want to understand you. If I don't want to understand you, at the beginning I'm going to say, I don't understand.
Now, did you see that same treatment with other Latinos and Hispanics in security?
Oh yeah. I see. I have an example. There was a security host, or in different language for everybody, was a security woman from Colombia, from my country. I am from Colombia, and I am very proud to say that. She came from a particular area that when they talking, they always says, if God wanted that happen.
Okay.
Example, if you say in America we says see you tomorrow. She in her town says, if God decided, I will see you tomorrow.
It's kind of like God willing.
Yeah,
Yes.
God willing. If God willing, I'm going to do
Okay,
that. If
okay.
God willing, tomorrow I'm going to
Exactly.
have my day off.
Yeah.
Everything, but she always put in that phrase in the front. And I was told by who was my boss at that time, that was when I was doing the temporary assignment for management security, that watching her, because she speaking religious at work. And I say, no, she's not preaching. This is the way that she talked. She was checking bags in the line and was a guest with a little child. And at that moment was the plane doing the happy face.
Yeah.
And the boy asked, what is that? And that person says, oh, this is the happy face, and he's going to write, Jesus love you. And somebody who was a friend of this area manager that always fabricated false statements went and says, now we got it. She's preaching. So she was accused for that.
Even though she's answering the little kid's question, and we're supposed to answer the guest questions, right?
Exactly.
We're supposed to not say, I don't know.
Exactly.
But she got fired for it.
Yeah, she got fired for that. Well, she was looking for, and the area manager was looking one way or the other one to fire her. So with that incident, she construct her fire. You know,
told me.
I
still can't believe that.
Yeah,
still cannot believe that.
She lost her job, and years later, I found her. That she was working in Animal Kingdom in merchandise, and we talking about that, and she told me the story, and she says one thing bring the other one, because she was extremely in stress, because she know that they harassed her, that they were looking for the way to fighting her, that she sometimes reacted in the way that she doesn't have to react.
Exactly.
You know, so one thing came with another one. But this is one of the things, yes. And she has accent like me, same.
Yeah.
And even better, because I can have to recognize my accent is more stronger than any other Hispanic person. Why? Because I'm not came from Spanish to English. I came from Spanish to German. German is my second language.
Wow.
Then I was in Germany, and I have to learn another language in order to communicate with the people in my class. I went to German class every day, 8 hours, and nobody in the class is speaking the same language. So everybody has to learn German to communicate with another people.
Exactly.
But in the meantime, if you want to have friends, you need to learn how to communicate with them. So on one side I have the Italian girl, and the other side I have the Portugal girl. So we exchange the languages.
Okay.
So when we finished in Germany, we went back home with 3 languages: German, Spanish, and German, Italian, and Portuguese.
Nice.
So this is that's why my accent is more stronger than any other Hispanic people. Because I have in my brain back the German accent.
Exactly. Yeah. But I understand you perfectly.
Well,
you know, so.
But somebody in Disney says no.
Of course. Now I'm just going by this list here. Like say the events that are held at Disney. Do you see discrimination in the events? Like profiling or anything that happens that like focuses on a certain group?
Oh yeah. Well, when I was doing the PCO, which is in Universal Vocabulary, security undercover, for people, for everybody to understand. We were told in one occasion, and this is public record in the lawsuit that another person did it that working with Disney, Nabil Baromi. I was witness about all the unfairness and discrimination that was made to him. In separate case, I'm going to talk about that. But now I'm going to say that because we went to the meeting and we were told specifically to pay attention to any Muslims or any black people in the park. And I don't remember who asked. One in a group says why, and we were told because Muslims are terrorists. Not every Muslim is terrorist.
Nope.
And I am upset because when they talking about that, they forget about Oklahoma. Oklahoma doesn't happen because a Muslim person.
Of course.
So, and we have terrorists that nothing to do with the Muslim, with the religion, or with Arabian descent.
Exactly.
But anyway, with that, they say because Muslims as a terrorist and blacks because they are thieves. Not everybody who is a shoplifter is
because they steal.
Exactly, or is because they have a black skin color. This is totally false. And I have so many friends blacks, so many friends Muslims, and I know and they are decent people, and I really are upset when I feel that.
Of course, of course. Well, when I worked at the Boardwalk at the Flying Fish Cafe, when certain people will go into the restaurant, it's like they really didn't want them to go in there. Like they would call people from the Middle East the Taliban. Some servers would say, I don't want to wait on the Taliban. And the managers would be right there. Wouldn't say nothing.
Doesn't say what.
You know? Or even some servers would say, they didn't want to wait on little kids. I don't want to wait on fetuses. The managers were right there. You know? So discrimination at the parks, at the resorts, it happens. Disney discriminates big time. They don't mind taking the money.
Oh yeah.
But they do take certain precautions when certain people come to the parks, which is totally, to me that's profiling. But they do it a lot.
Well, and I want to say something that they are also very ignorant in that part.
Yes.
And I have two examples. Number one, people that work with me as undercover make a report a suspicious person because that person wear a sari. A sari is not from Middle Eastern. This is for Indian people. How different. They are in different continent. They are totally different in everything. But just because don't dressing like us, conventional, they are a terrorist.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. This is one of the things. And the other thing is Nabil, mentioned again, very talented person. He offered to the company to give us a training to make a difference when the Muslim is praying to Allah, because he's praying, and when is terrorist behavior behind, which is very important difference.
There's two
one
different
thing
things.
To the other thing.
Of course.
Okay. He's supposed to training us, to let us know everything. I'm working with Nabil in so many secrets things that we have to do and he's very professional, and I learned a lot about the Muslim with him and his family too. And he was ready with the PowerPoint presentation and give us a class. And one of the person that was the favor of so many managers, she says, I don't want that you included me in that because they make a group like they going to do the presentation. Says, I don't want that they include me with him. And somebody asked why. She said, because I don't want to be associated with the terrorist. And anytime the people has a lot jealous because Nabil was smart and was very good person, and that was a person that or he is, not was, because he's alive. He's a person that empathizes with everybody, and people is, hey, Nabil, he's friendly. See him, and they are jealous of him. They doing that anytime they see him, like when you're going to explode the bomb.
Wow.
And he has to dealing with that every single day.
Wow, that's crazy.
The other discrimination, and that was with him too. He applied for temporary manager, like I applied. They give him the interview. They give him the opportunity to the interview, because that was good for Disney to demonstrate that we don't have any Muslim insecurity. Okay, so they don't want to be accused of discrimination, but never give it opportunity to do the job actually, because he has to go to Ramadan. And Disney doesn't want a manager that cannot respond it because he's on Ramadan. This is not different that somebody has to respond and go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, you responded after you finish.
Exactly.
You go in Ramadan, you responded after you finish. Or you take your break in the Ramadan time. But they don't give him any opportunity. And then when they have the opportunity to fire people, when they when they did the massive termination for the PCO, he was a candidate. They fighting him, but they doing something that never do with anyone. First, they demote him, then discipline him, then fire him. It's 3 actions for 1 fault, according with them. So Nabil from this group was the only one who filed a lawsuit against Disney. But what happened is Disney, before go to the court, make agreement with him to don't go to the court. They already fighting him. He was on employment when that happened, so he accepted the agreement. But I was his witness. I have everything about his case. His case is public record, and I'm going to talk about Nabil case later in another interviews or writing in my website, because it's very important for Muslim people knows what is the position that Disney has against them as employees, and also how they look in them as a guest.